34 years ago, the United States military aviation committed a monumental mistake. The YF-23 Black Widow, the fastest, most stealthy, and most advanced fighter jet, was discarded due to politics in favor of the F-22. Can you imagine the superior aircraft losing the competition? Today, that ghost has returned. Classified documents and conceptual designs from Northrop Grumman reveal that the future naval sixth-generation fighter, the FA-20, is the astonishing reincarnation of the YF-23. Why this epic return? The answer lies in the Pacific and in the new arms race. Stay with us to discover why the Black Widow is about to win the war it lost. More than 3 decades ago, in the aftermath of the Cold War, the history of U.S. military aviation wrote what many engineers and analysts consider one of its most costly and monumental mistakes. On April 23, 1991, the Pentagon announced the winner of the Advanced Tactical Fighter (ATF) program, a competition that sought to define the future of air superiority. Lockheed's YF-22 defeated the Northrop McDonnell Douglas YF-23 Black Widow II. While the former would become the legendary F-22 Raptor, the latter was relegated to ostracism, confined to a hangar and museum. For its creators, it was a moment of devastation, the silent testimony that the superior aircraft had lost the contest. This setback, motivated not by performance but by the murky labyrinth of defense politics, remained a historical footnote. However, in a narrative twist that seems straight out of a spy novel, the ghost of the YF-23 has returned, not as a relic, but as the conceptual basis for the FA-20, the future sixth-generation fighter of the United States Navy. This surprising discovery in aerial design not only seeks to correct a historical mistake, but is destined to redefine the global balance of power in the 21st century. To understand the magnitude of its return, it is crucial to understand the technical superiority that the YF-23 possessed over its rival, the YF-22. The YF-23 was not simply an alternative design. It was a revolutionary machine. Its characteristics made it an ideal platform for the air warfare of the future, even the one we live in today. First, its design. The distinctive diamond-shaped wings and the highly aerodynamic fuselage were conceived to achieve unprecedented stealth and extreme speed. The numbers and flight tests spoke for themselves. The YF-23 was the only one of the 2 prototypes capable of efficiently flying in supercruise, that is, maintaining sustained supersonic speed above Mach 1 without having to resort to fuel-guzzling afterburners. While the YF-22 required excessive fuel consumption to reach that threshold, the YF-23 did so with astonishing ease, which translated into greater efficiency, a longer range, and a smaller heat signature. In addition to pure performance, the Black Widow was intrinsically superior in 2 crucial aspects for modern warfare: stealth and range. Its geometric configuration made it virtually invisible to the radar of the time, and its greater internal fuel capacity allowed it to operate far from friendly bases and aerial refueling, a critical advantage in an expansive theater of operations such as the Pacific. It was, in essence, a predator designed to penetrate deep into enemy airspace, attack, and disappear before the adversary could even react. So why did it lose? The answer, as often happens in Washington, is disheartening: politics. Northrop carried the baggage of scandals from the 1980s, while Lockheed had political capital and a network of influence within the Pentagon that proved impregnable. The final decision, aviation historians lament, was not made in the skies during test flights, but in the boardroom. U.S. military aviation sacrificed long-term technological superiority for political convenience and the perceived stability of the contractor. The YF-23 was forgotten, but its blueprints and design philosophy were destined for a second life. The catalyst for this rebirth is the United States Navy's 6th-generation program known as the FA-20, part of the broader NGAD, or Next Generation Air Dominance effort. For years, the FA-20 remained under the thickest veil of secrecy, with the public unaware of the shape of this future fighter. The silence was broken in August of 2025, when Northrop Grumman, the heir to the YF-23 lineage, did something shocking. It published conceptual images of its proposal for the FA-20. The reaction from defense analysts was one of astonishment and immediate recognition. The conceptual design was not a distant inspiration. It was a direct resurrection. The nose, the cockpit arrangement, and even the complete aerodynamic philosophy screamed Black Widow. This is not a simple exercise in design nostalgia. It is a deliberate strategic decision. The same engineers and design teams that worked on the original YF-23 are now at the forefront of the FA-20 program. They are taking all the knowledge accumulated over 34 years of research, development, and, ironically, a failed project, and injecting it into what will be the next-generation naval fighter. The key question is, why now? Why is the Navy resurrecting a 1991 design? The answer lies in the world's most critical theater of operation, the Pacific Ocean, where the new Cold War against China is being fought. In 1991, China was an incipient military power, with its best combat aircraft being an obsolete copy of a Soviet design. Today, the situation is radically different. China has put its fifth-generation fighter, the J-20 Mighty Dragon, into service and is actively developing not one, but three different sixth-generation fighter designs, including one specifically for aircraft carrier. Its goal is no longer to catch up with the United States. It is to surpass it. The heart of the Chinese threat lies in its anti-access/area denial A2AD strategy. Long-range missiles and air defense systems cover hundreds of miles, designed to keep the U.S. fleet, especially its aircraft carriers, out of the conflict zone. This is where the YF-23's DNA becomes crucial. The Navy needs a fighter that can operate in the most dangerous airspace on Earth, the South China Sea. The original YF-23 was conceived to dominate that specific environment. Its long range allows aircraft carriers to position themselves at safe distances from the lethality of Chinese missiles. While the fighter can still reach targets in hostile territory, its advanced stealth allows it to penetrate the densest air defenses. The Navy is not simply looking for a replacement for the FA-18 Super Hornet. It is building an air supremacy machine that can survive and win in a great power conflict. Before we dive into sixth-generation technology, the question is, why did we allow politics to defeat technical superiority in 1991? We want to know your opinion. Pause the video and comment right now if you think the YF-23 was aviation's greatest mistake. While the YF-23 design is the starting point, the FA-20 will not simply be a modernized version. It will be a sixth-generation transformation that will solve the problems that limited the original prototype. It is a marriage of proven aerodynamics with 21st-century technology. Key improvements that will make the FA-20 a dominant force include materials and resilience. The use of new composite materials makes the structure lighter, stronger, and therefore more efficient for operating from an aircraft carrier deck. Advanced propulsion. New engines will offer much more power with a significant reduction in fuel consumption, extending the original design's already impressive range by 25% or more, allowing for supercruise at higher sustained speeds. Cutting-edge stealth. The YF-23 was stealthy for 1991. The FA-20 will be virtually invisible to the advanced radars that China and Russia are developing today. This includes coding and leading-edge design technologies that were unimaginable 3 decades ago. Network integration and manned-unmanned teaming, MUMT. Perhaps the most revolutionary feature is its ability to act as an aerial quarterback. The FA-20 will be connected to a unified battle network that integrates satellites, surface ships, and ground forces. Additionally, the pilot will command squadrons of unmanned combat drones. This concept, known as manned-unmanned teaming, MUMT, multiplies U.S. firepower while keeping the pilot at lower risk. The result is a fighter that takes the fundamental advantages, speed, stealth, range of the YF-23 and updates them for an era of hypersensitive information warfare. It is a reminder that in modern warfare, information and the ability to act on it with speed and stealth determine the outcome. The road to the Black Widow's resurrection is not easy. A fierce political and budgetary battle is being fought in Washington behind the drawing board. The Pentagon, in its zeal to manage resources, has shown an inclination to prioritize the Air Force's F-47 NGAD program, concerned about funding 2 sixth-generation programs simultaneously. In mid-2025, this tension became evident when the administration drastically cut funding for the FA-20 to only $74 million. While the Air Force's F-47 program received billions. Congress, however, intervened with an injection of $750 million to keep the naval program alive, with clear warnings about the danger of a delay that would leave the United States dangerously surpassed by China. The Navy has made it clear that the FA-20 is critical to maintaining air superiority over strategic points like Taiwan, Japan, and the Philippines. This conflict is not just about budget, it is about whether the United States will retain its status as the dominant military power. The competition between contractors also intensifies the stakes. For Northrop Grumman, winning the FA-20 contract would be the ultimate redemption, proving that, despite the 1991 defeat, their design was the right one. It would be their first major fighter contract since the F-14 Tomcat. For Boeing, the other major competitor, losing the contract could mean the end of its role in military fighter development. The stakes are immense, not only in money and jobs, but in the aircraft that will defend U.S. interests in the Pacific for the next 5 decades. The return of the YF-23 as the FA-20 is much more than a fascinating aviation anecdote. It is a strategic reminder of the tenacity of good ideas and a commitment to technological superiority. China's rapid military modernization demands an equally rapid response, and the FA-20, with its Black Widow DNA, represents that response. The YF-23 was, quite simply, ahead of its time in 1991. Its supercruise, stealth, and long-range capabilities were excessive for a Cold War that was ending and focused on smaller-scale threats. Today, in the era of great power competition, with an adversary like China operating over vast distances and with A2AD systems, the world has finally caught up to the YF-23's design. The defeat in 1991 was a political setback, but technology, unlike politics, does not stop. The Black Widow's design principles influenced the B-2, the F-22, and the F-35, and now they return to the forefront. The YF-23 lost the battle in 1991, but it is about to win the war for air superiority in 2025, armed with the technology of the future. China, which thought it was catching up with the United States, is about to face something it never expected. A ghost from the past, resurrected with 6th-generation weapons. This shocking return proves that, in U.S. aviation, the best ideas inevitably reach the top, even if they have to wait 34 years. The future of air power in the Pacific is being written right now, and it has the unmistakable silhouette of the aircraft that should have won. The return of the YF-23 as the FA-20 is more than a historical correction. It is a strategic statement of intent. It proves that the best ideas don't die. They just wait for their moment. The battle for air supremacy in the Pacific is underway, and this 6th-generation fighter is the United States' answer to the growing Chinese threat. Do you think the FA-20 will change the balance of power? Let us know your comments below. If you like this epic story, hit like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe for more secrets that redefine military history.